let's lay some noise.
In that, yeah, but I still have a couple more questions because I didn't ask the question. Greatest quarterback besides you all time.
Trying to get in trouble with me.
Yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to ask this question.
Are you talking about for all over game or just winning Super Bowls or just all out just...
Overall game, however you see it, is great.
I say this. The most exciting quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, just like, oh my God, this exciting is Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Mike was exciting to watch.
Yeah.
He was an electrifying player.
Yeah.
And if he take off and run, it might go for 60.
Right.
There ain't a lot of quarterbacks can take a football in the NFL 60 yards.
Right. He's like the first person to do it. Like he redefined the position.
Now, and there's only one other quarterback in the league that can probably do that now. It's probably Lamar Jackson.
Right.
But Mike was the first. He's the first quarterback I ever seen take it 60 yards. Just take off and run and boom, and just breaking angles, breaking ankles, breaking all kind of run angles, and then outrunning the defense and scoring. It's not a lot of quarterbacks that's ever been able to do that. So when I say, in my eyes, in my opinion, the most electrifying quarterback I've seen play is Michael Vick. Now, is he the best that ever played? No, I don't think he's the best that ever played the game. I mean, you have Joe Montana, you got Brady, you got Dan Marino, you got Jim Kelly, you got a lot of guys that came.
Dan Marino was a great guy. Who played and never won a Super Bowl. Yeah.
So Jim Kelly the same way.
Right.
You know, so
and yourself
guys,
for that matter.
Yes. All those guys I feel like were great quarterbacks, but the most electrifying quarterback I ever seen with my own eyes, I always say with my own eyes. Everybody got their own opinion, but when you actually see something with your own eyes, man, that's a different story, bro.
Yeah.
So I think he was the most electrifying quarterback that I ever seen play in person.
Now, what's your take on Tom Brady? What would you? Because you went in my weight room. I got a picture of Tom Brady. I'm a Tom Brady guy, and I tell you why. I just tell you why I think what I loved about him: under pressure, 2 minutes left, could to leadership, taking his team down the field, and 2 minutes left. You know, he was deadly. That's just my thought.
Nearly 15 years ago to the day, the legend of Tom Brady began with 1:21 on the clock and more than a few in disbelief.
I think that the Patriots, with this field position, you have to just run the clock out. You have to play for overtime now.
And we all know how that turned out.
We're in a tie. In Super Bowl 38, he set up a game-winning kick by Adam Vinatieri. To win it with this drive, the Pats need to score a touchdown.
That's where legends are made.
Amendola makes the grab on a perfect throw over the shoulder.
That was sick. Absolutely, disgustingly sick.
Tom Brady on the last two throws has had a clean pocket and he's delivered perfect balls.
Years of age, back foot hits in the pocket, he steps up and delivers a laser right into the teeth of the defense.
Second and goal to go from the 2. Toss sweep right for James White, tucks it under the right arm. Cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line! A touchdown and a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
What do you think? I don't know. They got to review it. It's not over.
Well, I really appreciate Tom Brady, and the reason why is because he came up through the league the same way I did. Low draft pick, didn't really get a great opportunity in the beginning. Somebody had to get hurt for him to get his opportunity. Same thing happened to me. And he took advantage of his opportunity. Because if Drew Bledsoe doesn't go down, we might not ever know about it.
Right. Opportunity.
Opportunity.
An opportunity presented itself. He took advantage.
He took advantage.
Yeah.
Same with me when I was in Cincinnati. 2 quarterbacks go down 1 week. They have no choice but to play me.
Right.
Wow.
And I'm coming. My first NFL start against the world champion Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
You know, and I played a really good football game for my first outing against a world championship team.
Did you win that game?
We lost by 3 points.
Okay.
It was 30-27.
Okay.
But I showed out.
He's like, I did my thing.
I showed out.
Yeah.
I showed out. But I had to show out.
Yeah.
To continue those opportunities.
Right.
Continue to be a starter, continue to play. And I showed out, until I had to retire. So those opportunities that we get, no matter what, the football, business, life, anything, you only gonna get one shot. Just like Slim Shady said, you get one shot.
I literally referenced that today. I said that in a other podcast.
Greatest coach of all time. I'm sorry, I'm just being personal because I got to ask these questions.
Well,
this stuff I want to know.
I think about coaches who not just won a lot of games, but help evolve the game. That help, guys like myself be a part of the game. A lot of people don't know football history. And Paul Brown, which ironically I played for the Brown family in Cincinnati, but Paul Brown was the first coach to use playbooks and have film study and have Jim Brown at running back.
Right.
Yeah. So he was one of the first ones to bring in black football players in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then actually incorporate them in his scheme of things. So I look at things like that because, see, I'm a history buff.
Sure.
And history means a lot to me because without that history, I don't exist.
Now, what did you think about Jim Brown? Because I love Jim Brown. I just like this attitude. It's like Ali. Ali stood for something off the field. And I know we've lost a lot of that. I love what Kaepernick did. He stood up for what he believed in.
Overnight, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick refusing to stand during the national anthem again. This time, he took a knee right behind hundreds of service members being honored on Military Appreciation Night.
It's a difference between during that time where you had a backing of a class of people.
Okay.
Today, you don't have that same backing.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, Ali. He had the whole black community behind him. Not all of them.
Yeah.
Because he was Muslim.
It was a movement.
It was a movement at that time, though. It was a civil rights movement. And if you look at one of my favorite pictures is a picture with a young Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was
I know what you're talking about.
Ali was
Jim Brown,
Kareem,
and somebody else, a track star or something.
Yeah. I guess they were all young.
Yes.
And they were all part of this movement.
Right.
You understand? And it was part of the civil rights movement. And so during that time, I think that was a very precious time for athletes, especially black athletes.
So elaborate a little bit more about that, about the black athlete now versus
I feel like during that time, it was a movement. And so you had a lot of support from the black community and for people that was for the movement. It wasn't just all black people, people for the movement. Now, I feel like if you support something wholeheartedly and if somebody don't agree with it, they'll just cancel you.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. It can be Black Lives Matter movement. It can be white nationalists. It can be anything.
How do you feel about Kaepernick, what he did? About sitting down, taking the knee?
Explain what Kaepernick did, because I've never heard that. Who's Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick.
What did he do?
I'll let him explain.
And because of all, at that time, it was a lot of, injustices going against black folks, police shootings and all that stuff. And for him to, he wanted to protest about that, so he took a knee during the national anthem.
Oh.
And so he basically got blackballed from the league for doing it. Because he
almost pulled like a Muhammad Ali, almost like
but this in the days where you can actually get canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, that could happen to anybody. I don't care if you're white, black, Spanish. You say something sideways and they go viral, you can get canceled.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to be careful what you say. A lot of people are sensitive these days about certain topics, and that's why I don't do a lot of podcasts. That's why I don't do a lot of talking. Because people can they'll twist your words, chop it up, and some people cool with that because some people just don't care what people say or think about it.
Right.
And I am that way to a certain extent, but I also have a family that I have to worry about.
Sure.
I have kids, grandkids, and aunts and uncles and
Yeah.
cousins, and they care.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
You conduct yourself
Yeah.
in such a way that you don't want your children or family to be disappointed or embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather always told me, um, uh, always keep your name good. Always keep your name
Your
good.
reputation.
Yeah.
If you had one thing, because I want to pivot to this mental illness thing, because, when a lot of people look at, I think when folks look at mistakes that were made by players, there's a tendency to just point the finger and say something mean, nasty, or negative, and not really want to kind of roll it back and look about why.
Yeah.
Why do you think these things are happening?
I think a lot of athletes are going through mental illness. I'm going through it, even still to this day. I'm going through it, and
How so? Explain.
well, a lot of people have to go through a career being ridiculed, being, saying you're not good enough, not only by fans, but just, media, sports talk radio, newspaper. You constantly have negative shots thrown at you. If you're not mentally strong, some guys have committed suicide over that.
Yeah.
Some guys are going to tank, start drinking, start doing some domestic violence stuff.
Yeah.
Because they try to hold it in, and when they get away from the game, they lash out.
Yeah.
Where,
And that's the worst thing you do is hold it in and then you project it onto someone that it wasn't meant for.
Well, a lot of guys, and I'm at fault of this too, never went to therapy. Never went to therapy. And I'm the first one to say, still to this day, never went to therapy.
Well, that probably wasn't even a conversation back then either.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a conversation back then. It is more so now. But I feel like a lot of guys would have been better off financially, better off marital status, better off even just a father to their kids,
Yeah.
better off, in the community, But when you get beat down by people you feel like that's supposed to be your fans or people that's supposed to be in your corner, and you feel like, well, there's really no place to turn. But sometimes I see guys, family members turn on.
Yeah.
Man, you had a horrible game. You suck. Whatever. I'm like, dang, if I can't get my family to back me, why am I playing this game?
Yeah. So people in your own family, because I've mentioned that too, even
I've
in my
seen
own
guys,
life.
family members bet against them.
Wow. See, because I have mentioned that some of your worst enemies can be in your own family. I've heard that from
And
people.
you can relate to that.
Well, I can in the sense that, sometimes you have a dream of something you want to do, and it's the people in your family first that telling you can't do it. So, yeah, I can relate to what you're saying.
So, this mental health is very, um, very true, and it's real. You had a young man 2 days ago, Kyron Lacey, LSU, just committed suicide.
I didn't hear that.
Former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey was found dead in Houston. Lacey was accused of a hit and run that left one man dead in Lafourche Parish back in December. A month later, he turned himself in and was released on bond. Lacey's attorney says a grand jury was supposed to hear his case tomorrow. The former athlete did declare for the NFL draft and was considered a first-round draft pick. According to reports, including a post made from his dad, Lacey apparently died by suicide.
He was going to get
Oh,
ready to go
I
in the
think I
draft.
did hear that.
He
How
was
old
on
was
trial for.
He was just come out of college. He just get ready to get drafted. And he had a bad car accident. Killed somebody.
Oh, no.
Couldn't
I
stand.
didn't hear this. When did that happen?
Yep. This happened.
Well, we talked yesterday, and then it was
a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And he was getting ready to go in the draft, and next week in the draft.
Yeah.
And he wound up committing suicide. He just could not take
Like
the
2
pressure.
days ago,
Yeah.
he committed suicide, right?
Just
Yeah.
Really?
just could not handle
That is
the pressure.
awful.
Not only having the pressure of what may happen, but having the pressure of actually just killing somebody.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And trust me, I'll be the last one to say this. I mean, the first one to say it. I've had a couple of times that I was getting ready to take my own self out.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
What? So I did not know that.
I know you did.
Yeah, I did not.
Well, first of all, thank you for being so vulnerable and
Yeah.
even being transparent enough to share that.
Yeah.
Because
That
that
takes a
takes
lot
a
of
man to
courage to
even
even
say
say it.
something
It's
like
hard.
that.
It's very hard. It's very taxing, especially when you.
Was that when you were playing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And after, because a lot of guys going what you call depression. Because football is all you know.
Yeah.
And now you go out in the civilian world, just like a military person, Military's all you know. When you get out in the civilian world,
some of them crash out.
They crash out. It's that PTSD.
Yeah.
Same with NFL players. Same with actors. You know, they crash out. They're not the same. They don't know what to do with
their life has been completely flipped over. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
because everything that they knew is no longer.
And then you can't really handle the pressures of the world. And because sometimes even when you finish playing, people don't stop ridiculing. People, they don't stop ridiculing. They don't stop talking bad about you. They don't stop. Then you have a lot of people that say, "Oh man, you were a great football player." Man, you get a lot of love too.
Yeah.
But if you're not mentioning shown and only listen to the negative and not tune out the negative, only pick up the positive, you can find yourself in some bad situation.
So you said a lot, Jeff, and I didn't know this. So this is interesting because I've known you for a while, and this never came up. We never discussed it, although you did talk about the mental health of athletes in general, on all athletes.
Yeah.
But this is an important question, I think, to ask.
Yeah.
What stopped you? Because now you mentioned someone. Okay, family. Your support
Family.
group stopped you from doing something like that.
And now my support group didn't know it, but it's been several times where I felt like, my purpose didn't matter no more.
That was after you retired.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I told you earlier, even though you start with a purpose, as life goes on, your purpose can change based on the situation. So you always have to be purpose driven until the day you die. That's like when you see most people that's married and they're married for 50, 60 years. When one died, within a year another one died.
Right.
No more purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Well said.
No more purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said. Now let me pivot to this or ask this question. So now you're at IMG, which is one of the finest academies for up and coming talent, from tennis to football to baseball to athletes from all over the world. Young prodigies come to IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. You are a coach there. Talk about that.
Well, I love that. I love the opportunity of being able to be at IMG Academy. The reason why is because I do have an opportunity to be with some of the best talent in the world. I do have an opportunity to play against some of the best talent in the world, and which gives me my purpose. I wake up every day and I purposely go to work knowing that I have an opportunity to influence, pour into, coach, and help other kids fulfill their dreams. Now, all of them might not be professional football players, but the things that they learn at that institution that will carry them off the field as well as on the field, whether it's a business or in life.
Now you have young people that may be watching who aspire to be in the NFL, who want to be in the NFL. What are some of the things? Name me 2 things you shouldn't do and 2 things you should do if you have some talent that looks like you're in a position to possibly play pro ball.
1, keep your mouth shut. Stay off of social media.
Say that again.
Keep your mouth shut.
Look in the camera and say that.
Keep your mouth shut. All right? And play good ball.
And stay off the social media.
Stay off of social media.
And why is that?
Because social media is the catalyst. That's the stuff with all the negative stuff on it. Reading the newspaper. When I played, I didn't read the newspaper. There wasn't no social media when I played. I didn't read the newspaper.
And you didn't read the newspaper.
And I didn't listen to sports talk radio. You go out and have a bad game, and people on the radio gonna call you everything except the child going.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So we learn not to listen to that stuff. Most actors or big time athletes really don't deal with social media. Now they have people that do it for them.
Yes.
But them personally, they don't really deal with that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can't even, they don't even have it where you can read comments.
Yeah.
They
have them filtered or turned
off.
What about
a guy? Now I gotta ask this question because I gotta ask the question. So it kind of threw me when I saw LeBron James go after Stephen A. about something he thought he said or didn't say. And I kind of feel, frankly, because, I didn't have, I wasn't in an arena with all the people watching me every Sunday like you. But, I'm a speaker. I've written a book. I have a background. And I'm open to that. The minute I wrote my book, and I realized even before I got published that I would be open to criticism about my life and the things I did. And I accepted that. I knew that was part of the game. And so when I saw LeBron James, especially before a game, confront Stephen A., who was a smaller man. I equated it to Will Smith running up there on Chris Rock and slapping him in the face at the Oscars.
Well, it's like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a...
Because, look, if it was me sitting there, they would have shut the Oscars down. And Will Smith wouldn't have been able to. I mean that. Anyone who knows me knows the truth. You wouldn't have sat down and had your drink.
Yeah.
And, you picked on somebody a lot smaller than you. And I just feel like Stephen A. was right to ask a question or have an opinion. How do you feel about what you saw?
Well,
because it bothered me. It didn't sit right with me.
I'm looking at both sides, the father side, but also being a professional athlete and playing in that realm, I know that you open to criticism.
Right.
And your son is part of that realm.
Yes.
And so whatever is said, you have to just take it with a grain of salt.
Because it was like, I'm a professional athlete.
I also felt like if it's something that bothered him, he got Stephen A. number.
Right.
He said, hey, man, after the game, meet me in the locker room, man, or just meet me back, by my car.
Yeah.
Just sit down and have a...
Because I thought like he was trying to punk Stephen A. in front of a bunch of people. That's me saying that. I'm not saying
I just think he went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he went about it the wrong way. And he could have easily got his message across between just him and Stephen A.
Yeah.
Without giving the whole world the opportunity to voice their opinion.
Because I think it's great for him and his family to have your son come in and be able to play with him. I mean, wow, great, good for you.
And I see that he's trying to protect his son.
Yeah,
just like Deion tried to do for his, and I try to do for mine.
Yeah, and think about if someone were to say something about me.
I understand that, but I also understand you're in the game because we've launched a podcast and somebody's going to have something to say about you too, or me. And you know what I'm going to say, but out of respect for him, I'm not going to use the language because I don't give negative. But what I'm going to say and ask you a question, pivoting to something positive, I'm an admirer of Deion Sanders. Yeah. Just the fact that he played, in the NFL and then he played baseball, and I just like the guy. He just, what's not to like about him? I really do admire him. A lot of haters. But I want you to elaborate on the fact that you have coached, inspired, and also have coached Deion Sanders' son at the quarterback position. Can you talk about that?
I started training, working with Shador when he was in 6th grade. And
was that the behest of Deion?
Yeah.
So he came to look for you to help his son.
In a sense, not come look for me. I was actually doing camps with him at the time.
Okay.
And he came to me and said, hey, man, I would love you to work with my son.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's right when Shador was like 6th grade. So I actually had an opportunity to work with Shador from 6th grade to 12th grade. And then once he went to Jackson State, another guy started actually working with him because I wasn't able to travel and do it. So, because at that time I was working at IMG, we have our own games on the weekends on Friday and stuff. So I just watched it from afar. I always keep in touch with Coach Prime. I always keep in touch with him and just tell Shador I'm proud of him and all that kind of. So you have to know when it's time for you to step back. And if he's ready for me to come back around and coach him, shoot, come back up and do it. You know what I'm saying? But because I have other kids that I'm trying to help with that same position. So sometimes you have to, let your student go, allow him to do his thing, and then take on more students.
Sure. Now, I have another question I want to ask about your hats. Because when I met you, you wear these fedoras, you're sharp. I actually asked him, I said, hey, man,
you wanted to style him for this podcast.
I said, you don't have to tell a man like this. You don't have to suggest anything. This man is a man of taste. There's no question about that. But I did say, hey, man, you should wear one of your hats on the podcast. Talk about your fedoras, why you wear them, because, you look really good in your hats.
Well,
that's for the ladies. I mean, people want to know. And are you single now, Jeff?
Yes.
We'll drop his contact info.
But no, tell me about your hats.
Well, I used to see guys, my old school cats, with the doors, I guess I used to go to church when I was a kid, and then my grandfather, all the old school cats always had on hats.
Yeah.
When they go into church, back in the 60s, everybody dressed up.
Yeah, right.
So when I was growing up in the 80s, my granddad, when they would leave and go play, they always put on their fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were always looking nice. They put their hats on and everything. And I said,
Did you say put on their fine?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Get your fine on.
Yeah. So
no more drinks for you.
So, I've never heard that. I love it.
So when I got older, I said, when I get older, I said, I'm gonna start wearing a hat like my grandfather did. My mother's father always smoked a pipe.
Oh wow!
So I grew up watching him smoke a pipe. I do have one. I smoke it mostly at home, but I don't take it to the cigar lounge.
I've never seen you with the pipe.
Yeah, because I smoke sticks when I'm at the cigar lounge. But when I'm home,
is it just tobacco you put in the pipe, or what kind of?
Kind of flavor.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, flavor tobacco.
Yeah.
So, but so I do that. So I've always admired my grandfather, because as a kid I was always with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was with both of them all the time. So I always admire some of the things that they did, and I always want to imitate them. The older I get, I see I do a lot of the same things that they did.
Sure. Yeah, I love it. I used to wear a hat similar. It was more of a felt kind of hat with a little dial that I used to wear when I was in high school. I used to wear it.
Right.
I might get back to wearing a hat. Inspired, by you.
To
do something.
Yeah. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Well, it's a thought. But my thought, is the trials and tribulations that you have been through. How do you equate that to? Because we're living in a time now where people are stressed about their taxes. People are stressed about business, all the things that are going on in the world right now where people just feel lost. And I really believe that people who have gone through what you've gone through and succeeded, what advice do you have for people who are in business?
Keep going.
Not just athletes, but people in life, period. What can you tell them?
Keep going. Don't quit. Don't stop. When you stop, that's when it all ends.
And drowning out the noise of negativity.
Just don't stop. It's been times that we all wanted to quit. We all said, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. I'd rather just go home. I'd rather die, go see my mom and dad. I'll go see my mom and my grandparents. I'm just done. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of everything. I'm tired of everyone. I'm tired of every situation. Seems like all I do is work. There's nobody there to, take this load off of me sometimes. And that load sometimes is very heavy.
That's how you're feeling right now?
No.
Oh,
not right now.
But how other folks are.
Well,
he's felt that way.
I felt that way. I felt that way. But at some point you have to find your peace. And sometimes it takes being alone to find your peace, and you can't be afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. We were saying that we find God, because I have a sense of spirituality too, and I believe that Jesus died on the pulpit. So we have that. He did that. Not Jesus didn't die. Jesus died on the cross, so we would have that way to reach God ourselves. Yeah. So I don't feel like I have to go to church all the time, but I'm a constant prayer. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't have a sense of God in their life.
A sense of a higher being.
A higher being. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't these days.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's different time, different era, different culture. When I grew up, everybody went to church. My dad always told me, I don't care what you doing Saturday night, Sunday, you're going to be in that church. Period. All the way to probably to my sophomore year in college when I stopped going to church every Sunday. And then once I got married, I started back again.
Sure.
I wanted my kids to grow up the same way I grew up. And that's why I feel like my kids are very stable today.
Now, you keep mentioning, and you've mentioned to me, your children on many occasions, because I know you're proud of them. And I'm very proud of my daughter. But one of the things that really stood out to me was that every one of your children is doing well. And I studied Jim Brown. I'm a person who studies things. And Jim Brown, if you watch this documentary, God rest his soul, Jim Brown had some issues with this kid. As great as he was as an athlete and the time he put into that and into the movies and all that he did, his children had a lot of issues. And at the end of the documentary, you saw his children. Most of them weren't doing that well. All your children are doing extremely well. So, one of your daughters I know was on The Voice, and then she got recruited, by Snoop Dogg, and now she's working for them. So What advice do you have to people, even to me, because I've got, let me see, how many kids do I have? How many is it, Brian?
5.
I'm just kidding. I know how many kids.
How
did you make all your kids successful?
I poured into them at a young age, disciplined them very young. So, I mean, by the time my kids were 5 and 6, me and their mom, all we had to do was look at them. Okay. At that point. And
I need to be listening to this.
And when we told them to sit down, that's what they did.
Uh-huh.
When my dad and my grandparents told me to sit down, all my cousins, that's what we did.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't get up till they told us to.
Uh-huh.
If they told us to get out of the house and go outside, that's what we did. We didn't we didn't ask why.
Yeah.
So I raised my kids the same way I was raised.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was successful being raised that way. They were successful being the same way because they had discipline, structure, organization, and they understood authority.
Uh-huh.
They had respect.
Respect. But they learned that at a young age. They learned I think my girls' biggest thing is disappointing their mom and dad.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that will crush them. I can be mad at them, but if I'm disappointed, it's worse. You know, so having their kids in a situation where they want to please their family, please their parents and their siblings, and want their initial family to be proud. They care less what anybody else say outside their initial family. You know, so I think that was the driving force of my kids' success. Their mom and I really poured into our kids. You know,
Probably had a united front
yeah,
too.
yeah,
that's important.
Oh, yeah. She take care of them, and then when your daddy home, he gonna get you too.
Yeah.
You know, so they were gonna get 2 spankings.
I think the biggest mistake I made, one of the biggest mistakes I made as a younger man, is that I didn't even consider what kind of woman, the woman I was with, I knew I was with her usually because it was physical stuff. But I never thought about what kind of woman what kind of mother would she be?
Yeah. And
it has cost me a lot of grief. So
right.
Obviously you're a lot smarter than I am about that.
Well, we met young. We were both in college. We dated 2 years in college before we got married. We both came from very stable families. We both had goals and aspirations, not only to be successful, but also have a successful family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not, me and my ex-wife, we're not together to this day, but we still spend a lot of family time together still, Christmases, holidays.
Wow.
When I go to Austin, I'm always gonna go by the field, vice versa. All our kids are always together. She cook, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she needs something on my end, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we've been co-parenting like that for years. Now we're co-grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so same
That's
thing.
Beautiful.
It doesn't change. Just because her and I aren't still together, that don't mean our family aren't still together. We're gonna always be family.
Mm-hmm.
Family always comes first.
The thing that jumps off the page about you, Jeff, is your character and your integrity. I mean, it speaks loudly, and that's just like a forgotten thing.
No,
it's how you act.
I haven't been on angel my whole life. I ain't been on. We all have. We all done our dirt.
Do you care to elaborate about the dirt you've done? I'm just kidding.
Catch us on the.
We ain't got no time. We ain't got no time.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm not really answering that question. I've done enough dirt for us all. But I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. But no, I mean, I really mean that because I met you and didn't even know who you were. You weren't talking about things that you had done. I had to go home on YouTube, and I was embarrassed that I had known. I had a good excuse because I was away on federal vacation. But the point
all
is,
your friends knew.
All my friends knew.
Oh, I knew about you the moment he met you. He called everybody and, I met Jeff Blake.
I did.
Sent your highlight reel out to everybody.
Well, what happened was I was in Chicago and I was talking about you and they didn't know who you were at all. And I was excited about it. Women, they don't know. And so they know about the football playing now. They just don't know the history unless they're like sports, orientated, fanatic type person. But then I pulled the highlight reel up because they were all cooking and everything. And then it kind of double take and looked at you. They saw a handsome man over there. They said, "Wait a minute, that's him?" You know what I mean? I said, "Yeah, that's Jeff Blake." Then
put
they
some
all
respect on his name.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. Yeah.
Well, I think we should wrap this up. I want to say, first of all, on my end, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I love how transparent you were, and I think that really opens the door for other men to be transparent and just talk about how they feel. I feel like so many men bottle things up and they hold things in, but you're human. We all have feelings. We all have things that we go through, and it's important to release it in a safe place. So I appreciate you feeling safe enough to share your experiences and your story with us. It really meant a lot to me. So thank you for joining us, and we're so happy.
Oh, thank
you.
And I want to say something too, and keep it 100. As you know, we launched our podcast, me and my daughter. I'm proud of it, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Who knew? And this is our first guest, and we're going to have many guests on our show. But when I asked Jeff and said, "Hey, Jeff, I would really love for you to come on our show, and you have a lot to offer, and you support us in what we're doing," he didn't hesitate to come on. He said, "Man, I'll be there. I want to participate. I want to come on your show." We appreciate it. And we really thank you for thinking of enough of us, because I admire you. I really do. You know that. You're one of the nicest people I've ever met. You're a great, great person. You are a fabulous talent and football player. You're doing tremendous things over at IMG, man. And I'm honored that you came on our podcast.
I really appreciate you having me, both of you having me on your podcast, and being honored to be the first guest.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
And we want to have you again, because I think, I know, I'd like to have you on recurring, to talk about different things involving the NFL and not just football related things, but a lot of things, because I know that you have a formula for life success.
100%. So if you like this episode, please continue to share it. If you have NFL lovers in your family, share this message, share this video. We appreciate all the love and support. Welcome to the family.